All right, welcome back to the Ninth Man NBA podcast. If you'd like to subscribe to the YouTube page, it'll automatically notify you when we post each one of our episodes. We know you'll listen to others long before you listen to us, but we watch and talk and listen way too much NBA not to get out here and talk about some NBA. So I'm Luke.
I'm Eric.
I'm Alec.
And I'm Colton.
The first thing I would like to talk about is this crazy phenomena that's going on in the NBA is firing coaches in the first 15, 16 games of the season, especially when it's their second season, and that's obviously talking about Coach Fizdale in Memphis. So what do you guys' take on that craziness, and what do you think is going on in the NBA in terms of coaches? Is there a longer leash now? Is there a shorter leash? We've seen kind of that phase in the NBA of coaches just getting fired for no given reason, and what do you guys think?
I'd have to personally say that it's a little bit of both. Yeah, I think it is too early. I mean, it's a second year, but you can't go, I forget what it was, 7-12 in your first how many games? You can't do that in the West.
19.
Thank you. You can't do that. So a little bit of it is on the coaching, but when you lose Mike Conley for half the season already, that definitely hurts. But at the same time, you can't bench Marc Gasol in the fourth quarter of a game that you're trying to win, and it's your best player.
I think it depends a lot on, as you've seen here, the relationship between players and coaches. There's obviously clashing between Gasol and Fizdale, and then I think back earlier this year, I'm a big Damian Lillard fan. He was taking to social media, really sticking up for Terry Stotts. They struggled a little bit, and that happens each year. He's always got his coach's back, and when you're star player, your superstar, your best player, whoever that is in line with your coach, that's always going to help. A couple years ago, Cleveland had the best record in the East, but LeBron and Dave Blatt didn't see eye to eye, and he loses his job. Mm-hmm. And coaching in the NBA, yeah, you got to be able to drop sets. Brad Stevens is a wizard, but so much of it is managing egos, and clearly Fizdale and Gasol's egos were not aligning.
Yeah, kind of going off of that kind of reminds me of the management with the Chicago Bulls. Mm-hmm. I know they didn't know if they wanted to fire the coach or go with the route of doing the Jimmy Buckets, trading him, and obviously they went the route of trading away Jimmy Butler, and I think that's a lot like what they chose with the Grizzlies, taking away Fizdale, kind of going with Marc Gasol, riding with him, and I mean it's tough. It's so early. You see teams where Rick Carlisle obviously doesn't have the team, not having a very good record
for the last couple of years. Yeah.
Exactly. I mean, yeah, you took him to the shit, but at the same time, the past couple of years he hasn't had anything, but he's still there. So it's just kind of a top management thing.
Yeah, something we were talking about pre-podcast tonight is the idea that. Is it kind of a Fizdale versus Gasol thing? Is that what you guys see going on here? I know they had that one fourth quarter things, but you guys remember the grit and grind Grizzlies kind of last year making it to the playoffs, and Fizdale doing the take that for data. I thought there was a kind of a sense of unity there in Memphis. Was I just reading that wrong, or was it this one incident where Fizdale didn't play Gasol in the fourth quarter, or is that just showing, kind of, Alec, what you were talking about? He's not managing egos well? I mean, I guess I'm just confused about, this was out of the blue in my opinion.
I mean, yeah, it was a total shock to everybody. I mean, you got Dwayne Wade, LeBron James saying they need answers. I mean, you just can't randomly fire a head coach for going 7-12 in the first 19 games. You got to give him a chance. You got Mike Conley banged up, losing Tony Allen on the defensive side. I mean, he's got to put pieces together, give him time.
I mean, Tyreek Evans right now is their go-to number 2 guy.
I know.
And he's been balling. Thank goodness I picked him up in fantasy, but I just guess I don't understand it.
Yeah, I would definitely agree with that one.
Speaking of the devil, who do we see is kind of on the next to get fired? 19 games in, 25 games in, whatever it may be. Who's on the hot seat right now in the NBA in terms of head coaches?
Yeah, I'm going to go with a bold take on this one. I'm going to go with Doc Rivers.
Oh, wow.
I think he is a very, very overrated head coach. I think he was carried by Paul Pierce, Kevin Garnett, that type of era, Ray Allen, and he just cannot get over the hump in Los Angeles. Blake Griffin getting hurt kills them. That's going to hurt their record. But they're already, losing 8 games in a row? Mm-hmm. I see Doc Rivers getting out of there in the near future, honestly.
Wow. Yeah, I mean, that's somewhat of a bold take, but, I mean, I can kind of see that they've had the scuffle with Austin Rivers in the offseason getting paid. I mean, like, just, is that a dad thing? You know?
No. He's deservingly so.
Yeah.
I think he deserves a roster spot in the NBA.
The president of basketball operations and the coach thing didn't really work out for Rivers.
Yeah.
So yeah, no, that's well taken.
I'm not really sure, but if I had to say a name, even though this team is terrible, would be Fred Hoiberg. I don't think he knows how to manage an NBA basketball team or even coach one. I mean, he did terrible with Dwayne Wade and Jimmy Butler, and he left the Iowa State job to go coach, which I think a lot of coaches would take. But I think he's probably the next one to go. Maybe not this season, but next season.
I don't have anything to back this up or anything to go off of. Just got a weird feeling that Jason Kidd's going to lose his job at some point this year.
Really?
Yeah.
I'm not seeing that.
In Milwaukee,
I don't see that.
They're 10-9, and they start the year out, and Giannis is doing his thing or whatever, but they're really not winning games. They don't guard, they don't play defense, and they're so long they should be able to get stops, and you just can't really get the team to play defense. He's been there for a while, and it's one of those things where it's like, what are you trying to do as a franchise? It's what the Pacers did firing Frank Vogel. Like, do you just want to be a mediocre seed in the East every year, or do you want to try to make a push, and can Jason Kidd get him over the hump? I don't know.
Yeah, that's an interesting take. That kind of leads us into the next prompted question that we had here, because obviously Jason Kidd and the Milwaukee Bucks don't have Jabari Parker this year, and Jabari Parker was killing it alongside Giannis last year, and now that Bledsoe's there, Middleton's been balling. They have Middleton back all year, so that's kind of an interesting take. So the question kind of posed here on our script is, who do you see as a better addition to a team coming back? And I know you just got done talking about Hoiberg and the struggles they've had in Chicago. But who would you rather have on your squad coming back off of a serious knee injury? Zach LaVine or Jabari Parker?
I'd have to go with Jabari Parker. I mean, I know he's had 2 ACL injuries, and that's killer to someone's career and to their confidence, but I still think he has a higher ceiling than Zach LaVine. Zach LaVine can jump out of the gym. I think we all know that. But I think Jabari Parker has more talent.
See, there's no way, because you got Zach LaVine, athleticism out of this world. He's developing a jump shot, believe it or not. Last year he was shooting the ball a lot more efficiently than he ever has. Very young, obviously, along with Jabari Parker, but I think it's clearly Zach LaVine in this spot. I mean, you could see, what do you do, a windmill with ease the other day?
It looks more than healthy.
Yeah.
I don't even know that it really just comes down to who's better at basketball and who's not, but just the situation. The Bulls suck. They're 3-16, and they need some type of excitement. They need something to get fans going, and getting Zach LaVine back. Jabari Parker's very good, but the Bucks already have Giannis, and they're a solid team. Is he going to put him over the hump, or is he going to add that much more? Whereas with Zach LaVine, he's not going to make him a playoff team, but it'll at least be like, oh man, he's exciting. It gives us something to watch rather than seeing just,
Well, I'm a big fan of Zach LaVine. I like the way he plays, but I mean, the Bucks are in a 10 times better position to maybe make a run in the playoffs potentially, and Jabari Parker I think could help.
Yeah.
But he's obviously got to be healthy.
Yeah. Stupid question of the podcast is coming now. If you had to start your franchise with one of these players, who are you picking?
Wow.
I got to go with Zach LaVine.
between those two players,
Yeah. Who are you picking if you had to pick?
selling my franchise and retiring.
I'm going with Jabari Parker.
I'm going with Jabari Parker.
Wow.
Even though the ACL injury's terrible, I'm still going to go with him.
I mean, look what Chandler Parsons. He's had three surgeries in the past couple of years, and he is just awful now. He got absolutely paid by the Grizzlies. He was looking good on the Mavericks, but those knee injuries obviously add up. I think that's going to happen to Jabari Parker.
Zach LaVine.
Really?
Yeah, I definitely don't want to start a franchise with either one, but if I have to pick between the two, I'm going Zach LaVine.
It's a pretty tough debate with those.
Typically, they start a franchise questions like, you want
Cat,
still LeBron, or are you thinking he's got enough time left, or maybe you want to go young with Cat? No, you're starting a team and you got to pick between two of the 60 or below players in the league is your first pick. So.
Yeah. Speaking of LeBron, Cavs win 9 straight last night. But we had a little bit of an odd situation with LeBron being thrown out for the first time in his 15-year career.
I was a big fan.
You were a big fan?
Very, very big fan.
Really?
Oh, I loved
Anthony
it.
Davis about to absolutely ruin a ref tonight. Gets thrown out of a big game. But what do you guys think of the? We sounds like we're talking about the Cavs too much, to be completely honest with you. But 9 straight, the Cavs got it figured out. I mean, they don't have a dominant point guard in Calderon now, and it seems to help them.
The Cavs have it figured out. They're coming out of the East. The East is LeBron's. Yes. They've won 9 in a row. They still do not have Isaiah Thomas back. They don't have Tristan Thompson. Derrick Rose is still gone. It is LeBron's conference. It will be for the foreseeable future, whatever team he's on in the East.
And how he's not slowing down just blows my mind.
He's getting better. This is maybe the best LeBron we've ever seen.
Yeah, with the minutes, too. Do you see how much minutes he's playing per game?
Yeah.
What is he? First in the NBA, I think? That just blows my mind.
The highest he scored since 2009, 2010. Shoot the best field goal percentage he has since like 2012. Rebounds are up. Assists. He's unbelievable.
Okay, it's come to that point. We got to talk about how LeBron James is not an MVP. I'm going to give you guys a side-by-side picture. Okay, I'm going to give you LeBron stats, and I'm going to give you a blank player. I'm not going to give you his name. I'm going to give you their stats, okay? LeBron is averaging 28.6 points a game this year, 57.7 from field goal percentage, 42.3 from the three-point line, 8.5 assists per game. 8.5 assists per game. This is the other player. 28.3 a game, 57.4% a game, 39.1 from three-point line, and 7.7 assists per game. I'm just going to jump to the chase here. All 4 of those stats are from a player that won an MVP, and their highest statistic one of their best statistics was that stat, okay? So 28.3 was Kobe, 57.4 was Shaq field goal percentage, and LeBron is better in all of these categories, by the way. 39.1 three-point percentage from KD when he won the MVP, and 7.7 from Derrick Rose assists per game when he won the MVP. I just think that I'm jumping on the bandwagon that says LeBron is, and for 15 years now, has been the most valuable player on any given
better
team.
basketball player that's walked the face of the earth. People are seeing the light.
I don't know if we should get into that conversation. We might be here till tomorrow.
If you have a brain, it doesn't take you that long to see the light.
Oh my!
Wow.
Although I do say LeBron has the edge over Michael, I think it's tough. If I were to see Michael play live, I think my opinion might change. But watching LeBron and all what he's done is just remarkable.
Yeah. Just answer the quick question here is like. I've read an article that LeBron is the dark horse for the MVP this year. These stats are absurd.
James Harden will win the MVP because voters are sick of giving it to LeBron.
There's
not a more valuable player on the planet than LeBron James. He won't win it.
That's freaking stupid. I unfortunately agree with you, Alec.
I think Russ deserved it last year. I don't think LeBron deserved it.
We can get past this question because we can go for days, like you said.
Yeah.
The most valuable player. It's LeBron. I don't care your stats. The most valuable player. You take LeBron, you put him on the 76ers last year.
They still have Kyrie Irving and Kevin Love. What do you mean? They're still going to come out. They might not come out of the East, but they're still making the playoffs.
I disagree.
Or if you take Russell Westbrook
they'll make the playoffs, but they're not winning the East.
If you take Russell Westbrook off that Thunder team, they're not seeing a 50 or a 500 win season.
You put LeBron on that team, they win more games because he makes everybody around him better. I love Russ.
That's not the scenario though.
It's the most valuable
player
to that team, to that individual team.
You realize they were losing 15 points a game when LeBron sat? 15 points a game.